Okay, this is, can you see the Cub Scout BeAScout screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is a screenshot of the BeAScout pin screen that you can go onto and update your information on your own unit. Has everyone on this meeting done that and updated their current pin?
Yes.
Yes.
Need a couple more yeses.
Yep, we're all set.
Okay. One of the important things on this screen to remember is that you can write in this box additional information. You can add information so that when people are going on to be a scout, you can put in what your yearly dues are, or when your meetings are, or any specific information that is special to your unit. You also, on this page, this is where you're going to check off that you will allow online registration for your unit. And this is going to allow you to use some of this as another tool to help with recruitment. Once you've updated everything, make sure to save it. And then you need to make sure you watch your emails, because your emails are going to have information that comes across with information on registration manager or application manager and information manager. And you're going to want to watch those. Darlene, how often a week do regular leaders get this information? Is
They
it
get
once
it.
a week?
I think they get it on Thursdays.
Because I seem to get it more than that, but I might.
I get one every day.
Okay.
But I'm at the council level, so, and it's a invitation manager and application manager.
Right. And you don't want to let that slide, because that's where you're going to see people that have found you online. So in a minute, I've got someone coming on that uses this as a recruitment tool. She takes sheets of paper to her recruitment events, and she has two things that go on. She has people fill out an information sheet on a piece of paper, but she also has a computer set up so that they can go right online and they can register there at the recruitment event, or they can put information
Get in
in.
the shower.
There she is.
Sorry.
This lady was rushing home from work to get on here with us.
Oh, my phone, of course, was at 1% and I couldn't stay on the meeting.
So everyone, this is Carol Thurner, and she is the Cub Master for Pack 824 in Sanborn, New York. And she's done an outstanding job of using this tool to help with recruitment. So Carol, I'm going to let you go for it here.
Okay. So are you going to keep screen sharing, Kendra?
I can let you screen share if you would like.
Okay. Let me just before you get off, let me just get it situated. Oh, never mind. Okay. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
You seen the pin that I had set up? One thing with all of that is I also have it so that you can send replies. Just got to get on the right page here. Which one is it under, Kendra? Member manager? Organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I should have refreshed myself a little bit today. Okay. So with all of this, the one big thing is you always want to have stuff in the very first few sentences that are going to grasp people's attention. When they do go on, especially when they are searching, before they click on an actual scout pack, whether it be a troop or a pack, they're only going to see very little bit. So one thing, the days are always important because everybody trying to do their extracurricular. And everything else that you really want to grasp their attention. Ours is about having fun, making memories. And then, of course, you always want to do examples and give as much information as you can. It only allows you to do so many characters in this area. So you'll kind of have to fool around with it a little bit. I have everything checked so that our meeting address can show, our contact people, the name, our phone number, our website. You always want as much information as possible. You can also, We do allow people to apply online. As you know, they can always do it numerous different ways. They can apply online, or they could fill out the actual paperwork. No, get down. The settings, one thing that I have set up with ours as well is a kickback email, so that this way, when somebody does go to request information, it's down here, it will send a welcome email. And then this way it says, thank you for your interest. As you can see, I'm sure you can go on, I'm not going to read it all. I introduced myself as the Cub Master, and we look forward to it. Again, I reiterate our days and our times and where we meet, a little bit of information that is pertinent. You always want to think about it as a parent, which I know most people are, on what parents look for in the extracurriculars. What calendars do they follow? What activities do they do? What times? Is it something that, for instance, is a family organization, of boys and girls? So you always want to try and answer a lot of those questions, but also you want them to reach out to you as well. So it's kind of that gray area of putting a lot of information, but also enough where you want them to reach out to you instead of just giving everything. And this is what I have found that works for us. One thing that we very muchly use on our recruitment is our website. Just don't look at it right now because it is under construction at the moment, but we're going to use that word for now. It's one thing that we have found that we always tell people on our PIN, on our recruitment, everywhere. Go on and look at our Facebook. Go on and look at our website, because we can sit here until we're blue in the face and tell everybody exactly what we do, but it's going to take a long time when you get into all of the activities. So this way you can also, the parents will go on and take a look at the pictures and the photos and the calendars and everything, and they can see the smiles on the scouts' faces as well and see that everybody is having fun. In our opinion, this has been a huge part of recruitment for us. And as you can see, the one sentence I have, take a look at our photo pages on the site. It lists the activities and shows the activities. I do put in a couple things that grasp the parents' attention on our PIN. One of them that we have, is our holiday movie night. And the kids absolutely love it. And I know that it is not along the normal scouting of hiking and camping and everything else, but you also have to remember that you're trying to grasp the children's excitement as well. And we do obviously stress all of the stuff that we do with scouting, with the hiking and everything. But a couple others, our holiday movie night, we always stress about the volunteer work we do, the stuff we do in the community, nature trails, police stations, all of the common stuff. So this way, anytime somebody goes on to request information, I have it checked here, welcome emails, so that this whole thing right here will bounce back to that person's email that they log with. And they will just get that kind of courtesy email of, we're acknowledging that you are on there visiting us. You can do and include fees and fee explanations. If you do that, it will allow you to enter in a little bit. I don't really use that because I want people to call us and I want to actually talk to people. Kendra, you want me to get in what I do with on recruitment nights, correct? Entering in the leads and stuff as well? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we have our recruitment nights at either our Kids for Kites, our Kids Day with the Buffalo News, open houses, anywhere that you do recruitment, and always keep in mind that recruitment is not just sitting there at a table at school and waiting for people to come up to you. You can use recruitment anywhere that you are. When you are out selling popcorn at show and sells, have recruitment stuff. Have the flyers, have your business cards, have a QR code. And I can show you about the QR codes as well. So when we do have back to our nights, everybody fills out this spreadsheet that I know council or can supply or has online, I believe. Correct, Kendra?
Yep.
Do they have this? Yep. Okay. So I then take that. Okay. I then take that and I go into our invitation manager and I will create a new lead. So your lead source, joining night, individual lead, other, you can choose what you want to classify those as. Usually the invitation leads or the individual, I'm sorry, will be when a scout says, hey, guess what? I have a friend who would like to join. Here's their information. So I do that so that this way I make sure that if that person does join, that the scout who recruited does get the credit for it. Joining night, other, you can do it however you would like, which one. So let's say we do joining night. We had Jane Smith bring her child. Email Jane Smith at Gmail. And this is all information that you get off of your recruitment spreadsheet that the kids sign in or the adults sign in at. You don't always have their address. That's fine. You don't necessarily need it. The most important information you want is their names, their child's names, the email address, and the phone number. And then what I will do is I will save that. So now that I have an open lead, what I immediately do is go into it. It will let me. And I keep all of my lead notes here. So what I will do is I will put in whoever was doing that open house for us, whether it be myself, the assistant cub master, or if it is our one of our committee chair recruitment people. And I will put, CM for cub master, met with family at Colonial Village open house. Oh, sorry, don't mind the non-spelling here. On, whatever day it is. And then I will post that. So then between 24 and 48 hours later, I will then go and send them an email of, hello, it was nice to meet you. Here is the flyer that was distributed at the open house. And I'll attach that as well as include our contact information, our website. If I have any other type of PDFs or calendars that is interesting for them. And then I go on and I add another note. Now, remember, I'm doing it, 24 to 48 hours later. So the date stamp and the time stamp technically would change. CM sent follow-up email. And then I'll post it again. And I will continue to do all of my communication on here. If they replied back, if they called, I will put it in there. Cub Master spoke to them. They are going to attend our open house night. Whatever little blurbs you want to put in there. The nice thing too is you can then go ahead, send your application, which it'll probably bounce back because I did a bogus email. But you can send them an application. If for some reason, say they cannot do a Wednesday night when we meet, but they can do a Monday night. You can always reach out to the appropriate personnel with council and executives and say, hey, do we have anybody who meets on a Monday night that's in this area? Obviously, you can also find it on the My Scouting as well. And you can reassign that lead to them, because ultimately the biggest thing with scouting and recruitment is we just want the kids joined. We want them to become a scout. Yes, we would love for them to join our pack, but if it doesn't meet the qualifications that they need, then there's another pack out there for them. Once they actually register, let's say on open house, they then decide to go ahead and register with us on paper. I will then go ahead, registered at open house on whatever date. I will post it, and then I will close the lead out because this lead is no longer open. They have now joined. They are part of our roster. We can close the lead or complete the lead. Now, in all of this, as you can see, this is where I initially put in the lead, but anytime that somebody is interested in your pack or troop, it will show up here, a new one. And that means that somebody just showed interest. So you would click on your view and address it accordingly. I always recommend that you call them to do that personalization with them, and then you follow up with an email as well. And just make sure that you're always courteous of the person's time. That's a big thing. When I say, this is Carol, I seen that you inquired online. I'm with Cub Pack 824. Is now a good time to speak, or would you prefer I called you back at a better time? You don't want to get people when they're in the middle of making dinner with 5 kids running around. Then once you address that lead, it will show as an opened lead. We sent the invitation to the one that we entered. You can always send an invitation to anybody on here, and it's always recommended. But again, phone call is always your strongest one first. Your QR code. I was talking about that when I had said about your recruitment opportunities at Show and Sell. All is you have to do is take this QR code and print it out on a piece of paper. And when you do that and you put it out on your table wherever you are, all is they have to do is scan it. I don't know who's all on the call to know, if everybody's familiar with QR codes. But they scan it and it will bring them right to your exact page, your exact BeAScout page. They can go on, they can register, whatever they would like to do. It will bring it up as if they went to beascout.org and typed in the location. There is also the invitation link, which is that I believe is assigned by council, so that you never will change. But you can copy the URL and you can send that via email as well.
Carol, you've got a question from Jeff Miller.
I do. Where am I looking? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff. You're just muted. There we go.
Do you know if you can pull the actual QR code from the site and make it a file? Or have you not tried that?
Yep. So you can download the QR code. If you hit download, it brings up the download actual image.
Okay. I've never tried, and when you were talking about it, I had that thought.
Yep. Let me drag it over. So there is the download. And then you can print it, you can save it. This way, if you want to go ahead and save as an actual file, you do have that option as well. Did that answer the question, Jeff?
Yep, I appreciate it.
Perfect, no problem. Just get out of here so I can see. The application is a huge one, and these both, especially during school year and recruitment season, should be checked daily. You do get notifications. Kendra, am I still on?
Yep.
Okay, I just got a pop-up, so I wanted to make sure I was still actually on. You will get a notification as long as you have it set up accordingly, for instance, on your app. And the mobile is pretty much, it has all of the same information, just the navigation will be in a little bit different spots, just because it is a confined application. I believe they send out 24 hours after it actually goes through. You will get an email or notification, or maybe overnight. I don't believe it's an immediate minute by minute. There's none in here right now. Let me see if I can pull up previous ones. Yes, all right. So here's everybody with the application statuses that you can see actually went online and did applications. Can I view it? Yes, I can. So if you look over here, here's a good example of the application notes. CM has accepted the application, Scout added to the roster, and then I updated it to completed. And that is done once all of these three are green and check marks. That means they have entered all of their information, their child's information, and they have also paid. Now, one thing that you're going to want to know with all of this is your treasurer is going to need the invoices. So this way you can see exactly what they paid. The council fee, the new member, any fees that they had paid, this is it. You can download your invoice and make it into a PDF or whatever your format choice is, so that you have the accountability for that money that came or that went to council or nationals. Then you can also go on and download the application. This is where all of your information is going to be on the family. It shows exactly the day it was submitted, completed, etc. It will give you their application ID number, their member ID, as well as the parents. Another big thing that everybody I'm sure knows is needed. Also gives all of the youth information. Anything that's on the normal paper application is on here. And it's nice thing is it's legible because it's typed as opposed to handwritten on the little blocks. So that's another thing you print out, or however you choose to organize your pack, and you have all of their information. If I did have it last year where a couple people actually just went on and completely joined up and enrolled with our pack without ever speaking to us, or really seeing us, or they may have seen us and they didn't sign in. So one thing you always want to do is, again, follow up with that personality or personability. Call them, thank you for joining. You know, we look very forward to meeting you and your scout, etc. Same thing you would do when you would do a follow-up with them. Do I need to get into reports and stuff, Kendra?
You might
Or
as
is there
well
anything?
just show them in
Okay.
general what's out there.
Sure. Is there anything before I get to that you want me to touch base on, or are we doing okay so far?
Are there any more questions about this portion of it so far?
The PIN, the invitation, or the applications?
Okay.
Oh, Scott unmuted. I didn't know if that meant he was going to ask a question.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Carol, I was just going to just sort of recap. So at your joining night, you actually have the invitation manager open and you're putting those leads in of the folks that are visiting you, correct?
I do, yes, put them in. I can't say that I do it when I'm physically there because they are signing the sheet on the clipboard with all of the information. But then I do usually later that night or the next day go in and put it all in to keep it organized. And this way too, just to add on to that, Darlene, the nice thing with that is you may have a scout from last year who said, you know what, this year they're just involved in too much, but next year I may definitely want to explore it. You can go back at last year's leads that you put in and not have to look for the spreadsheet that, you know, with all of the paperwork, who knows where it went right now.
Okay.
Did that answer the question, Darlene?
It did. I was just curious as to whether or not, because I've heard that some units actually have the parents enter the information in while they're at the joining night. And I just didn't know if that was an option if you had a laptop.
Yes, so that is definitely an option that we are going to pursue this year. We did not last year because our open house night turned into a very larger amount of people than we were anticipating walking through the doors. So we would have been there probably for hours had that happened. And same with the schools. When you're doing your open houses at the schools, the elementary schools or high schools, wherever you are, you know, you usually have quite a few people up at your table at once. So we will have it available, and depending on the amount of people will depend if they go right to the laptop or go to the spreadsheet on a piece of paper. But regardless, it always gets entered into this invitation manager, no matter how they do it. We like to make it easy for the parents. They're already flustered as it is at open houses, especially if there's multiple siblings that they're trying to go to 3 different wings of the school to drop off school supplies. Anybody else on this area? Good. Okay, so now you can go into the reports, and this is a pretty self-explanatory as far as what each report pulls. You can see that it will do a recap of any in-progress ones, any ones that are closed. So if we were to run that one, it will pull up to this. There's obviously nothing there right now because of the date timeline. This is January, or it's just this year. We don't have anything on there. Let me go back and get. Okay, so you can enter in your dates that you would like to actually pull those from. And you will see the pending acceptance was 14, your acknowledgements. When people go on to do their applications, you will notice if you use this that people can start with all of their information, but they do not necessarily finish the full process. And when you pull up an application, say that's in the works, you can see exactly where they left off, whether they left off at the actual payment part of it, whether they left off at the terms and conditions. You can see where they left off so that this way, when you follow up with them, you can ask them if there's a reason or if there's anything that you can do to assist getting past that point. So pending acceptance. So now we can export this to a PDF, or you could do it to an Excel sheet. That is your discretion. Oh, it didn't give me all the details. It's only giving me numbers. All right. That one will only give you numbers, apparently. But it will also, same thing, you're in progress, you're closed. Any leads, this is always a good one. Any leads that were closed, maybe not completed. What we generally do is I will mark it completed if they register and they are part of our pack. And I will use closed if there is nothing further. You know, we've done our follow-up calls, our emails, anything that we can possibly do and we just can't get them, I will mark it as closed. You can come up with whatever system you would like that will help you remember. All the units eligible.
So Carol, can you mention what you did with membership numbers with this pack by using this system? How far did you come?
So last year, we met our goal of 25 new scouts. Is that what you're referring to, Kendra?
Right. Where did you start and where did you end up? You met your goal of 25.
Yep. So we started
the process.
We started at 6 at the beginning of the year by the time, you know, going into the new scout season. And we are currently at 32. We did have a transfer in there as well. So I believe that this really helps because it really helps you not double call somebody, not double email. And there's nothing worse than when you call somebody and you're like, they say, well, I just talked to you yesterday. You know, there's nothing worse than something like that. So this is a great tool to stay organized with and run your reports and really stay on top of stuff. Any questions on those? No, good. Okay. Kendra, where else would you like me to go
I think
here?
you've gone over most of it. Are there any questions on anything else that has to do with this whole process with this tool that anyone else has? You can see that Carol has really taken this an extra couple of steps further than most people have been doing, and it seems to work. By using this as a tool that she's recording who she's spoken to and then goes back in and double checks her notes, she's able to connect with these families rather than just waiting for one invitation manager to come across and the people say, okay, well, I sent them an email and they never joined. But Carol just keeps records of all of this stuff, and she makes the phone calls and sends the emails and then goes back in again and reviews everything. And the process is working.
It is. And now, you know, within the next couple weeks, what I'll do is I will go back from all of our leads that we had put in last year. And like I had said earlier, I'll go in and see if anybody wasn't quite interested, or maybe, for instance, their child was in pre-K and they were not of age to join yet. And they say, maybe we will look into it next year. This way I can follow up with those particular people and say, okay, I see your child's going to be in kindergarten this year. Are you interested in, you know, coming to try a meeting or join scouting, whatever statement you would like to use to try and grab their attention. You can also use this tool. One thing I did not say is for transferring in. If you have a scout changing for some reason, they can transfer in via BeAScout as well. And you can go in and accept the transfer from one pack to another for whatever reason it may be.
Thank you, Carol. You have done way more with this than I have done with this. I work mostly with the troops, so I don't have as many people asking for information. But this is just wonderful, and you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you. And our numbers last year, just so everybody's aware, with just the 3 open houses that we did at the elementary schools, we entered in over 49 leads.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
that's great.
So
I want to thank you both, both Kendra and Carol, for doing this tonight. And hopefully it's been helpful to those on the call, and we can get more scouts into scouting.
And if anybody does have any questions, you know, after you get off of here and you fool around with it, feel free, you know, if it's okay with Darlene and Kendra, you can shoot me an email, or, you know, anybody, you know, email Kendra, Darlene, myself, and I'm sure that we'll be able to answer any questions. And I'm sure all 3 of us would be willing to get on another call with an individual if they need a little help.
Absolutely.